Buenas, buenas. Good morning, everybody. How are we doing today? Oh, yes, we're in a new spot today. If you recognize this room, let me know right now. Right now. Just kidding. Anyways, guys, so I had originally filmed this episode. One, it wasn't uploading. And two, I felt like I didn't talk about it enough. So get ready for me filming this again. And hopefully I don't forget anything. So everybody grab your cafecito, your Red Bull, whatever you like to drink in the morning, and let's get into it. Ooh. All right, guys. So on today's episode, we are going to talk about conspiracy theories. And by conspiracy theory, it is a conspiracy theory that Hawaiian came up with himself. It might be a real one, but I don't know. And again, everything I say is the video is allegedly. I'm not saying anything is real or not. We're just don't sue me. Thank you. Anyways, so let's just say a few days ago, we went on a stroll and we were walking through this neighborhood. And when I tell you this neighborhood was like creepy, very just dystopian kind of vibe, it's just really, really weird. You know, like it didn't feel, you know how most neighborhoods feel like homey, and like even those like cookie cutter homes still like cookie cutter like neighborhoods and developments, like they still feel like okay, right? No, this one felt really, really eerie about it, and I was like, but I didn't think nothing of it until he had brought it up. But it was such a quiet neighborhood that I was like whispering to him because I was just like, I don't want to be too loud and someone hear me. He goes, we're outside, and I go, exactly. So we're walking through this neighborhood, and like I told you guys, it's so quiet. And there was a couple things that he had brought in up that I was like, oh shit, I didn't even think about it until like when we were walking through it. At first, he's like, what if this is a fake neighborhood? And I was like, well, what do you mean? And then, of course, the light bulb just went off because, duh, anything that has to do with anything that does not make any sense, I like. That's why if someone convinces me enough, I will probably believe it. And that's why I think if I would have met John Smith back in the day, I probably would have believed him. But yes, Columba is gullible, but Columba is not stupid. Say with me, Columba is gullible, not stupid. Would I probably think the Scientologists are making a little sense? A little sense, yes. But am I going to believe them? No, because I'm not stupid and Scientology is dumb. Don't come after me. Thank you. Everyone has their own religion, okay? You guys took Tom Cruise. We have the Pope. Okay. Anyways, so back to this creepy neighborhood. So, like I said, this neighborhood was so quiet. It was very eerie, and it was just weird. And also, like this neighborhood, the houses. If you looked at it from the back of the back of the house, these houses looked huge. Like they looked like they were these monster houses. But then when you walk through the front of the houses, it looked like this tiny little thing. And then the houses were shaped weird. And then the garages were shaped weird. Like one garage se metía por acá y luego el otro like normal. But still, I'm like, it just looked really oddly shaped where I'm like, how can two grown ass vehicles fit in there? Like it made no sense. I feel like people had to be driving two Priuses or two Mini Coopers or something porque no van a caber ahí. Like it's weird to me. So whatever. And then so that was when we were walking there that I noticed like the weird stuff. So then when we went through it again to walk back, I was staring at it. I was like, And then Josh goes, these are fake houses. Like these aren't real houses. Like there's no way. And I go, okay, well, give me some things you're looking at. There was no cars on the street. First of all, like I said, it was quiet. There was no cars on the street. There was one. I was like, okay. There was no lights in the house. And by this time, it was like the sun was going down. Like, there's not much sunlight. So it's not like you're using the power of the sun to, like, see in your house. Like, it was, like, completely, like maybe two houses had lights on. Some of you guys like, what if these houses are abandoned? Why has no one lived there yet? First of all, these are, like, practically brand new houses, I think. Y luego, there's no for sale signs outside. There's no open house signs. There's no for sale, for rent, for lease, whatever. Like, there's nothing. So it's like, a little suspicious. And then literally, like, only like a couple houses were like, you could tell people live there because they were a little bit more decorated, but everything else wasn't. So I'm just like, but also, could the houses that had decorations be real or not? Because I went through this mini rabbit hole down TikTok and I was like, okay, like, is there such thing as fake neighborhoods, fake stores? And yes, and there is a bunch of fake stuff. And a lot of people say it's probably a glitch in the matrix. It's like a conspiracy theory. It's old military like props, or there's just pretty much fake houses for like movie sets. And I get it, but most movie sets are not, they're not going to be in a little town in Colorado. Like, they're going to be in LA. And most of those houses, like, they get repurposed again and again and again. They're not just going to be chilling in the middle of other houses. Like, they're going to be in a movie set, in a TV set. Like, they're going to be somewhere specific where they can go back to it whenever they need to, not fly hours just to film something else. So I saw this thing that a lot of people were saying that there's fake towns, so fake gas stations, fake stores, fake everything. And I believe it because it makes sense, because I feel like the government controls more than we think. And there's 100%, 10 times more stuff that they do that we will never know what they do because they're fucking fucked up. And I feel like that correlates with like everything that they do. So I'm like, interesting. Also what came to my mind was the whole our Antarctica. Antarctica. Wow, I can't pronounce that word. And Antarctica. Antarctica. The big white thing that's cold down on the earth. So what was said was that someone, I don't know his name, went and saw this like beautiful greenery world in Antarctica, and it was like the most unbelievable thing they've ever seen, and this X, Y, and Z. And then like a few years later, NASA was invented, and they're saying allegedly that NASA went, it was like, oh, let's not tell anybody. And then right after that, that's when every country, every continent, everybody was like made a treaty that they will never go, never explore it, and never do anything about it. And it's like, what did they see? What are they trying to hide from us? And I feel like that also correlates to the other conspiracy theory about how we all used to live in Mars. But then, of course, people had to fuck it up and humans fucked it up and todo esto. So now they had to send us to Earth. And this is, now this is why we live on Earth. And I'm not saying that couldn't be real, but also like, look what's going on right now. Global warming. It's literally not even fucking cold in Colorado. There's been no fucking snow. It hasn't been cold enough. It's fucking hot. We're running out of water. We're gonna literally burn in the summer. Like we get so many wildfires, we're code red pretty much at this point. Like there's nothing. So do I believe it's fake? No, I do not. I believe it's kind of real. Anyways, go back to the fake stuff. So a lot of people were saying that like the military ones, like, like they make fake towns so the military can go and know how to like, oh, like help them train in a sense, which I'm like, okay, I guess that makes sense. But like also I'm like, there's more to it. And because I always feel like there's more to everything. It can't be that easy. You can't just tell me, oh, it's fake towns because of the military. I don't believe it. Sorry. And then, oh yes, so one of the other things I had seen on TikTok was that, yeah, they do all this stuff. They make fake towns. They do like fake groceries, fake everything. And then they hire fake and quote unquote fake people to go and make it seem like it's real and this and that. And then I started thinking about it. Again, this is all alleged. It's just my imagination. Nothing I say is real, whatever. But I felt like, and like I told you guys, I filmed this episode already, and I put this thing in my head that I was like, wait, and I sat on it because I was like, am I fucking crazy? Or does this make sense? And it made sense still to right now while I am filming this currently. So, I might be crazy, probably, but whatever. I have a theory, allegedly, because of like if the fake towns and fake homes, and one, it could be witness protection, but we'll get that later. They built all these stuff to get people to be like, oh, I'm just gonna come up with a random name. Like, let's just say we all live in Denver, and then they make this like random city out of thin air and name it Jurassic Park. Again, fake names. That's the first thing that came to mind. And then everyone's like, oh yeah, like Jurassic Park has 7 Targets and 2 TJ Maxxes and 1 Walmart and 100 gas stations, algo así, like something crazy, like something like a normal town would have. And then they hire fake people to go and make it homey and like all this and that. And then there's people like, oh yeah, like let's go live there. So they go live there. And then I feel like one, they do that to experiment on people because that's what happened with, okay, don't quote me, but there's allegedly that's when the government went down to Chicago, I think it was Chicago, and gave a bunch of African Americans drugs to experiment on them and see what would happen. And this is why they always say, oh, they're crack babies or this and that. But allegedly it says that the government went and did it to experiment on them, and this was, back in the day, because they're not gonna hurt their precious Caucasians. So like, could I be far off though? That's why they make fake neighborhoods? No. So I feel like one, they do that to experiment on people to see like, oh, like if we release enough of this or enough of that, like how, I also feel like they do that to just kind of how to like record people and like really like sit there and stalk them, because I feel like you can go out in the world and see how someone like is, but until you see someone like, how do they drive, do they park in the garage or just their driveway, are they outside playing with their kids, do they take in their groceries, where do they shop, because you can see shopping bags and all this and that. So I feel like they make those to like really like, oh, this is what the quote unquote the normal person does, and then like that's another experiment and experiment. I also feel like the ones that are like more like in the rural areas, like more like in the woodsy areas, the algo así, they have they convince people to go to essentially quote unquote kidnap them and just make them disappear. And this is where my theory was, and I was arguing with my mom and my sister about this. I was like, how many people go missing a year? How many people go missing a year? And so a lot of these people go missing out of thin air. Like nowhere to be seen. You never see these people ever again. Like the one that will haunt me is that boy that got in a car accident. It was in a cornfield, and he called his parents. He goes, hey, I'm over here. And then they hear him, and then they went to go find him, and nothing, they never fucking found him ever. And there's so many weird things like that where like people literally just go fucking missing. People go missing in the woods, people go missing here, people go missing there. And I feel like it's either they make these fake towns so they can have they can either lure people there to kidnap them, or all these people that get kidnapped, they take them to these fake towns to, like I said, experiment on them to see like, oh, how well is the search department gonna find them, or how willing is a parent willing to go find children, and do I feel like they don't, bad things could happen to them, and they probably, this is all me just coming up with my imagination, and they're all dead. Yes, but it also, like I said, stuff like this doesn't make sense, how some people just leave out of thin air, and how many people go missing, like I'm telling you, how many people end up dead. Like, it's just this crazy world. And I also, like I said, I feel like fake towns and all this is real. It's just all propaganda, because North Korea and Turkmenistan, if I feel that, if I think that's the other city, especially North Korea that we know more of, they do this thing where like they're in a really, really big dictatorship. Like, you're in North Korea, you will never leave unless you're dead. Athletes go to like the Olympics and stuff like that, and they are constantly being watched. Because why? Because what's his face likes to be in control. Anyways, so there's propaganda that they give to us to be like, oh no, Korea's so beautiful, this and that. People say that if they've been to Korea, the streets are empty. No one owns a car unless you're wealthy or like the higher ups. They tell you what to watch, what you learn and all this and that. Like, you can know a lot. Like, there is this kid in North Korea that got a copy of Squid Games, and they found him with it, and they ended up killing him because that's um outside of their like stuff that they do. And I feel like that's insane to me because it's like they control pretty much everything you do, but in their propaganda videos they're making it seem like, and I feel like I might be using the wrong word, but I feel like they're in a sense trying to lure us in there, like I'm saying, so they can just see how like the other world lives. And when I say the other world, I mean like us, because I feel like North Korea is just so disconnected with the world that it's like, what the hell. And then with Turkmenistan, it's also very, very hard to get in. And they have these like big, beautiful, white, golden buildings that I know that literally they're just there for show, because, people aren't rich in these places unless you're, the higher ups or anything. Like, people like struggle, and I'm pretty sure the government even controls to their money to their point where they're like, "Oh, you're only getting $100, figure it out," because there's no way that these places don't do that. So I feel like, especially North Korea, they do that to lure people in there and end up keeping them there. Like the one kid, I'm not defending his what he did, but he was what, Canadian, I think, or European, I'm not too sure, don't quote me, but he went to North Korea, ripped out a poster, and then they sentenced him to prison, and then they tortured him slash waterboarded him, I think, and he came back like they fucked with him. And then they kind of was like, oh, well, I guess you can have your kid back, after they experimented on him. Because they're not gonna, I mean, I'm pretty sure they experiment on their own people and this and that, but like, you can only do so much with one race. So like they're probably going to a different and a different and a different and going back and forth. And I just feel like these fake towns, these fake civilizations, these fake stores and X, Y, and Z are there made by the government to really, really see how much, one, they can push us, how much they can do to us, if they can torture us enough to see what the body does. I feel like there's just like what people thought lobotomies would fix you. They thought if they shoved this big old thing in your head and like swirled around your brain like a smoothie, supposedly it was supposed to help with mental illness. Like if you were gay, they would do that. Like, of course, that didn't fucking help. That just made the poor person like handicap, And it's like, what the fuck? Like, they want to see how much they can get away with before it's seen as inhumane torture. So I feel like they built these fake towns and everything to really see like, what the hell. And like I talked in another last, I think it was my last episode, about how like the map of like where people go missing in the world, in the map of the great, all the national parks, they look exactly the same. And duh, because there's no way people go missing that much without knowing what happened to them. Like, yes, there's sinkholes, yes, there's animals that probably ate you, yes, there's this and that, but it's also like, how did they not find your bones? Like, yes, a snake can kill you, but like, they're gonna find you eventually. Can a tiger, a lion, whatever eat you? Yes, but they're gonna probably find your half-eaten body. Um, or insects gonna sting you and then you just die and you're like, oh crap. Yes, but they're gonna eventually still find a body. They're still gonna find bones. They're still gonna find teeth. Like, they're still gonna somewhat find some of you. But for them to completely go missing, I don't get it. And especially like all those people in third world countries, like all these homeless people that they don't have the resources to really see what happened to them. Like, most homeless people don't have family. So if they go missing, like, how are you going to find them? You're not. So I feel like they're an easy target. Really poor income households are easy targets. People that just live in other countries, and they're probably like, oh, like, we'll just give them a cow and a sheep and they'll give us, their three kids, and we can do whatever we want. And then they bring them here and then they do all these things allegedly So yes, at the end of the day, that's why they make fake neighborhoods. No, but I'm being so serious, guys. When I'm telling you, the moment Hawaiian said these are fake houses, my light bulb went ding, and then when I started talking about it, my other light bulb went ding, and I was like, "There's no way that this isn't true." Like, there's no way. We do. You guys, you have to realize we do not live in a perfect world. I don't care what you think. We clearly do not live in a perfect world, and everything is so fucked up. And like I said, I do believe in certain things. When everyone during COVID, it was so funny because I like to say, I like to quote that meme, but the Ronald Reagan got rid of birds and turned them into spies, and now they work for the bourgeoisie. I don't know what the bourgeoisie means, but I thought it was funny, and I believe it because there's no way that these people aren't constantly watching us. Do I feel like birds are real? Yes, because birds freak me the fuck out. But I do feel like there's more like that we just don't know. And with all the technology we have, they just need the smallest little camera to see us. Like, they don't need a lot. And I feel like birds are an easy way of like, they fly. They can fly on top of your tree, on top of your house, on your porch, this and that. And you're not gonna care that, oh, there's a bird, let me be quiet. No, you're still gonna spoil everything and be like, oh, this, and that. Like, I do feel like also the government allegedly, like, just is watching us. Yes, like I said, there's so much technology. They can see us through streetlights, they can see us through anything, they can hear anything. But there's no way that it's only like the cameras that are traffic ones and then like landline phones. There's no way that that's the only way that they are trying, like, they are finding who we are and what we're doing. Like, there's other ways. But yeah, I don't know, guys. I just feel like there's more to this wonderful story we call life. And yeah, but I'm just gonna leave that there. If anyone thinks I'm crazy or wants to enlighten me in a different way, please, I'm down. Like, maybe you're like, Columba, you're fucking crazy and stupid, this is not real, but let me tell you something else. Or you're like, I 100% believe you, you want to know more conspiracy theories? Yes, please tell me, because I love this stuff. There's a reason why there's conspiracy theories. There's a reason why for years the government's like, oh, aliens aren't real, you guys are fucking crazy. And then what, 2 years ago they're like, ah, they're real. Gotcha. Like, what are you guys trying to hide? What are you distracting us? All of a sudden, you're like, I'm just kidding. Those green things and those little UFOs are real. I don't know, guys. But yeah, thank you for joining me today on this lovely morning. Hopefully, I rattled your brain a little bit and you are thinking of more crazy conspiracy theories. If you guys enjoy this, let me know. But yes, don't forget you can listen to me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and you can see my beautiful face on YouTube. Bye.